I'm really excited about having our first guest here today. He's a 6-time Stanley Cup champion, a Hall of Famer, and I'll tell you what, he just changed the whole dynamic up in New York. We had former Ranger head coach Mike Keenan on the program in the summer, and he had nothing but nice things to say about you, Mark. So let's welcome into the locker room, Mark Messier. How you doing, Mark?
Well, that's quite an introduction with Mike Keenan, but I'm doing great. Great to be on with you guys.
All right, Mark, you're here today. You're representing NXT Water, the makers of Akiso, CDP Water. We'll get into that in a little bit. But first, I want to ask you. I want to tell you that I just told a story. I don't know if you heard it, but I got an opportunity. I'm a Flyers fan. Obviously, we're down in the Philadelphia market. I had an opportunity to go to the Game 5 of the Rangers Vancouver game up there in 1994. I called Murray Craven and said, "Hey, Muzz, it's Schweiner. Can you get me 2 tickets?" A couple good friends of mine said, "You got to get." A couple Rangers fans that live up in New York called me, said, "Schweiner, you got to get us tickets. They're scalping them for $2,000-$3,000 a ticket." So I called Muzz and I say, "Muzz, can you get me tickets? I'd like to come see you play." He said, "Sure." Mark, I paid $87 face value.
Nice.
On the way into the game, we got offered $2,600, and we went into the game.
Good for you, buddy. That's a loyal fan. Good for you. You didn't sell out. Good for you.
Right. We sat next to Kid and Play and Craig Stadler, the Walrus. And my recollection, there were so many stars up in the stands that night.
Just think about that amortized out over a lot of years there. It was only $20 a game anyways there, so it's okay. 20-some years later, you got good value for that $2,600.
Absolutely.
So
all the memories right there, buddy. That's
all. Oh, absolutely. You know what? I'm telling you something I'll never forget, Mark. Mark, I want to ask you this first because to me this is because Joe Namath is one of my favorite figures of all time, and following your career, you had such a great career, winning all the Stanley Cups in Edmonton, and then Wayne Gretzky goes to L.A. I want to know how gratifying and satisfying was you winning the Cup after Wayne Gretzky departed, or you predicting a win in the Devils conference series when you played the Devils? What was more gratifying?
Well, I you know what? I don't really take any personal victory lap for when we won championships. Anytime or anybody that's ever won a team championship knows it takes everybody in order to win, no matter what the circumstances are. We had an amazing team in Edmonton, obviously with Wayne leading the way for those 4 Stanley Cups that he was there for. When Wayne left, it was heartbreaking for all of us because, first of all, he was an amazing player, obviously. We felt we had many more Stanley Cups to win with Wayne intact. And so when he left, it was really tough to swallow, to be honest with you. But what we did realize is that we still had a great team. We still had a lot of experience there, and we had some great young players there that could really kind of chop a lot of wood and carry a lot of water for us during the regular season, which they did. And by the time the playoffs rolled around, our kid line, Jelena, Graves, and Murphy, they were unbelievable. And probably, if you wanted to point your finger to a lot of reasons why we were able to win the 5th Cup, you could point to them. I mean, we had great goaltending, obviously. We had Gary Curry still and all that. But, that kid line really carried us a long way. For New York, it's been talked about a lot. I just had a lot of confidence in our team that year. I knew we had the ability to go and win a game that we needed to. We had proven it all year. Any game that we wanted to win that year, we buckled down and we were able to win it. We lost momentum in that series. We had to figure out a way to get that momentum back, and we had to go win a game. Simple as that, and we were able to do it.
Well, I don't think it was that simple. I mean, you guys are down 3-1 to the Devils. I mean, I know you're being modest, but you guys are down 3-1 to the Devils, and you make that prediction, come back and score a hat trick. I mean, it's just that's right out of
in the third period.
Yeah. I mean, Joe Namath predicted, in Madison Square Garden, the Mecca. You make that, to me, that as a Flyers fan, that's amazing. I'll never forget it.
Well, it was an amazing year all the way around, actually. We started in England and we won the Mustard's Cup. So we won our first championship in England in a little tournament we had over there in training camp. But we had a great year. We started off 4-7-1. We made a couple moves. and we really caught fire. And even towards the end of the year, with all the moves we made, it was probably, you could say, a little risky. We gave up some great players like, Mike Gartner and some of the kids, but the guys that we got back fit in seamlessly. So, it was just a storybook season right from the start to the end. And of course, culminating with the Stanley Cup in '94. But, the Devils were an amazing team. We got down 3-1 and we weren't playing poorly. I keep telling everybody to this day, it wasn't like we were playing bad, but the Devils had really found another level there, and we had to figure out a way to match it. And, we're able to buckle down, and the guys rallied around each other and found a way to come back and win.
Hey, Mark, it's Scott McKay. We have a mutual friend who works for one of our great advertisers, Insurance Doctors. April Melquist wants to say hello to you and your family.
Well, please say hello for us.
I will. So, Mark, you had a 25 NHL career, 6 Stanley Cups, like Billy mentioned, 15 All-Star games, 3rd in all-time points in the league. You're Conn Smythe winner, 2 Hart trophies, 2 Lester Pearson awards. 3 Canada Cup wins. I got to ask you, you ended up playing 1,756 games in the league. Gordie Howe had played 11 more games than you. And I'm thinking you probably could have played 12 more games. Did you not play that next season out of respect for Gordie?
Numbers were never the thing that I focused on. I think I was able to amass numbers because of the years I was able to play and stay healthy and for the sheer just love of the game. But I never played for points. I never looked at myself as a goal scorer, as a point getter. I started as a 4th line fighter. I worked my way up to the 3rd line, then to the 2nd line, and then finally got moved to center. We had a great line with Anderson and different wingers throughout the years in Edmonton, but it was never a question whether I was going to play just to break Gordie's record. If I really had the passion to play and felt I could contribute, I would have kept playing. I just think that for me, when that time came, I decided I had had enough, and I didn't really give two thoughts about playing the extra 12 games to break Gordie. Obviously, I have a tremendous amount of respect for Gordie. My father had, gone to training camps in Detroit, spoke so highly of Gordie, the way he treated him as a rookie. And, but numbers were never my thing. It was only one number that I cared about, was trying to figure out a way to win each and every night.
We're talking with NHL Hall of Famer, 6-time Stanley Cup champion, Mark Messier. Now, Mess, we're looking at the lineup for that 86-87 Edmonton team. You, Curry, and Gretzky. 3 guys with 100 points or more, and Gretzky with 183. Will we ever see that again?
It'd be tough now. I think tough just because I think the goaltending position has so much improved across the league. We're starting to see some offense, but I don't think we're ever going to see the offense that we saw in the 80s there. I think the rule changes probably have something to do with that. There was a lot of time throughout the game that was spent more 3-on-3, 4-on-3, 4-on-4 during the course of a regular 60-minute game. So I think more ice opened up, percentage-wise, I guess. But we did have an amazing team. In fact, the 1985 team was voted the best team of the century, and I think we had a better record than the 87 team, but that 87 team was amazing. We had Rua Rögsalainen was on the team, and we had Kenta Nielsen on that team. It was really so much depth, and of course, a lot of the teams that we played against, Winnipeg for all those years, Calgary really became great, but you put Wayne on Winnipeg those years with Dale Howardchuk and the great teams they had. Could have been just that much different. He was such a difference maker.
Hey, Mark, we're obviously in Flyer country here too, and you spoke about that 85 year. That was the second and last time the NHL, and I had 3 roommates that played against you in that series, both series 85 and 87. That's the second and last time they've ever went to the 2-3-2, which is a typical baseball format, probably because you got Edmonton across the country and Philly here. Do you guys lost the first game 4-1 to Philly, and then you came back, so you'd won one of the first 2 games. Was having the next 3 games at home an advantage to you guys? And I got to ask you, did Slats really burn the videotapes after watching that first game? There was a
You know,
rumor about that, so I don't know.
yeah. Yeah, I think we had a little too much time off in between series, the semifinals and the finals there, so it took us a while to get our bearings. But Philly was great. They had good teams, strong. I have so much respect for Philadelphia because of all the years we played against them in the finals, and of course the Ed Schneider and what he's done with minority hockey in the inner city. Go to his golf tournament every year. So really a big affiliation. Ed was a huge supporter of mine. I always spoke with him at the All-Star games, and what a great guy. Yeah, for us, the 85, that 2-3-2. It's only an advantage if you take advantage of it. We were on the right side of that twice with the Islanders, right, in '84. Yeah. We split the first two games there, then coming back for three. And, you win that third game. To me, is always the most pivotal game in any 7-game series, is the third game. And we were on the right side of that 2-3-2 twice with the Islanders and once with the Philly.
All right, so Mark, tell us a little bit about what you're into now. You joined the Akiso team with the NXT Water. Explain to us a little bit about what you're into and how this CBD thing works.
Yeah, so it's been an interesting journey for me, to be honest with you. Ever since I came into the National Hockey League as a 17-year-old, I was always into fitness and working out. When I was 15 years old, I got a guy that was our friend of our assistant coach, and he was one of the strongest men in the world guys that was on TV all the time. And so I remember watching him, and he came home, and he brought home this workout regimen that I followed there for about 3 years until I turned pro, and it was a heavy weighted program. And it was right at the time that I started to grow. So I really correlated that all this weight training with all this growth and all this strength. And so I always realized that there was great benefits to it. I always really took care of myself as a pro. Fitness was a big thing for me. In retirement, a lot of things were centered around leadership. And what it really became apparent to me is that, the whole health and wellness space had become really interesting, and a lot of people standing up and taking notice of it, especially with the CBD and what the effects it was having on people, both young and old. Next Water with Todd Wax, the founder and CEO, came up with a way to infuse CBD water, 10 milligrams of CBD water in a nice little refreshing bottle of water like that, with zero taste. And one of the things that you see all these CBD products with right now are all flavored because they try to hide the flavor of the CBD, which can be very earthy. But they've been able to infuse 10 milligrams in a refreshing drink of water with zero taste, so it just basically tastes like a refreshing drink of water. The fact is that in the Chicago series in 1990, I was reminding everybody all the time to make sure that they hydrate, because we all know that lack of hydration can make cowards of us all. So they coined me the phrase that I became Captain H2O. so here we are. I don't know how many years later, I got an opportunity to be introduced to Akiso water that has all the benefits of hydration with the anti-inflammatory properties and the stress reliever, all in a refreshing post or pre-workout. I said, that's super interesting to me because of all the things that I've gone through. Did my research, like the folks there. And here I am as an Akiso equity partner and a branding officer of Akiso, which is awesome.
We're talking with Mark Messier, 6-time Stanley Cup champion, NHL Hall of Famer. Mark, you look like you're in great shape. I mean, do you have any ailments, any lingering injuries that you're like my knees are? I didn't play at a NHL level, but I played a lot of sports. My knees are killing me. Does this help with the pain factor?
It did, no question about it. I have so many stories going back probably 6, 7, 8 years. Caddies who had done 2 loops a day for years and years and years, were on all kinds of arthritis pain and all that. Started taking CBD, and instead of riding in the cart, now they're back walking again. The stories are endless, young and old. There's no question that the biggest culprit that we have in our bodies is inflammation. So any way we can get rid of inflammation in a natural way, get rid of the narcotics and all the medicines, and do it naturally is a super beneficial, obviously.
So you hydrate, and you also, it also takes away some of the inflammation in your joints.
And the calming effect of the CBD, which everybody experiences differently, but there's no question there. And we're going to see more evidence that of the benefits of CBD as we push forward there and continue to do research on it.
Mark, how do people get the product?
Well, you can go to nextwater.com and order it online. We're soon to be unraveling in a lot of the retail stores, which you would expect this get most products like this. But the easiest way right now is and learn more about it is nextwater.com. And the interesting thing about it too is we're probably the first water that has this little QR code right there. So you can take a picture of this QR code, and you can actually go in there and get a verification of exactly where that plant would derive from and all the ingredients and everything in there. So you know that what you're drinking is completely on the up and up.
Well, that's pretty cool.
Well, you know,
Super
Mark,
cool.
you know what I think was great in doing the research on this product, because obviously we knew you were coming on and we wanted to talk about what you're doing today. But the great thing about this, you know, CBD and then there's the THC side of the cannabis plant, and it's taking the CBD part of that and putting it so there's no euphoria or high that you get from a THC. And like you said a couple of times, I mean, this helps with inflammation, osteoporosis, anxiety, you know, people with cognitive, and it's like a sport drink that makes you feel better, and there's no sugar or artificial.
I'm going to give it to my wife.
Yeah.
Well, look at we know that there's 123 properties in the marijuana plant. Extracting those can all be beneficial. There's no question about it. And we got to get rid of the narcotics. We got to get rid of the painkillers in pro sports and all sports, all walks of life. To be honest with you, and there's so many natural alternatives that can do this. Things that we're talking about, like stress relieving, like anti-inflammatory properties. All the things that cause the uncomfortableness in your body, especially when you're working out or competing and all that. Not to mention just going home. You know, if we get to the game at say 4:00 in the afternoon for a 7:00 game. You know, we eat at 2:00 in the afternoon. We get out of the rink at 11:30. We go have something to eat. You're still rammed up from the game. And instead of taking a sleeping pill, you know, take some CBD and get yourself calmed down so you can get a good night's rest without taking any sleep aids. And got to get rid of the narcotics.
All right, Mark, tell us one more time where we can where can we go to get this?
Yeah, we got to go to nextwater.com.
Nextwater.com
or akisowater.com.
Okay. Mark Messier, listen, man, I was super excited having you on. It was a pleasure to have you and speak with you, and I really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Yeah, make sure your listeners go to akisowater.com and they'll find it.
Okay, there it is. Mark Messier on the Jersey Man, Philly Man Sports Hotline. Thanks, Mark.
Thanks, guys. Good seeing you. Good talking to you. A lot of respect for your Flyers and your Flyer fans. All the best to everybody.
All right, there he is.
Take
Mark
care.
Messier on the Jersey Man and Philly Man Sports Hotline.